Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you have joined from. Welcome to another webinar from SQL Maestros. So as we always do, let's begin from checking where are you from, which city, which country, which part of the world are you from. So please use the chat window. Let me know your country name and I'm going to call this out. And yes, please reply to everyone. It's always good to see global participation. That's a lot of motivation. Let's start. Okay, India. Then we have someone from New Jersey working as a DBA. Welcome. Okay, let's scroll down. We have people from Dubai, from the US. Okay, Cameroon. Oh wow, that's not very usual. So yeah, thanks, Cameroon. Someone, what I'll call out your name if I can. Uh, Akumba Bryce. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing this well. Bryce, thanks for coming. Bavaria. Then we have that's Bavaria. Oh, we have new locations. Michael, welcome. Okay, we have someone from Nepal. Great, Sabin. Then India again, Germany, Maryland. Okay, welcome. Lot of new locations this time. England again, Trinidad. That's again not very usual. Okay, so we have India again. Welcome all of you, South America there. Wow, lot of new locations. We are reaching new geographical locations. That's good. Great. Welcome, friends. Welcome. And I am assuming all of you are working with SQL Server in some or the other capacity as a developer, DBA. Friends, today we are going to talk about spooling. Okay, and before we start off today's content, let's quickly answer a few common questions that come in each webinar. Question number one, are these webinars recorded and are they available? Yes, they are recorded and they're available on sqlmaestros.com. You may just type on Google or on the address bar, SQL Maestros, that's plural.com. And yeah, and you can check out the recorded webinars section. You have a lot of free webinars and you have some webinars that are paid. You don't need to really go and pay for each of those webinar recordings. You're welcome to just become a premium member. It's a small charge that you have to pay. It helps us keep running this show, and you get access to all the content, all the paid webinars as part of that premium content as a premium member. And you get access to the premium video lobby also. So do consider that. So that's question number one. Question number two, when we send out these emails, we keep getting questions about the master class. We get this question throughout the year: when is the next master class happening? So the good news is the schedule for the next online master class is now announced. It's happening in the month of February next year, which is 2026, just about 2 months from now. So yes, why don't you go again to sqlmaestros.com and you can check out all the details up there. And friends, as always, the masterclass you can attend live. So, of course, you have the live access to the class, which is 40 hours of live class. You get access to the recordings for a lifetime, and you get access to all the recordings of the previous masterclasses. So, there are two of them. One that was in 2025 this year, and the one in previous year. So that is a lot of content and you have access to all of them for lifetime, no annual renewal, etc. Okay, these were the common questions that keep coming. Now let's get down to today's content. Welcome once again. Spooling. Today the way I am going to deliver this topic and I'm trying to explain this concept to you and the execution plan operator and what happens. I wished someone would have explained me that years ago in this similar fashion. And sometimes we have a lot of presenters and books and video content and people talking about spooling, but they don't really get down to the very basics and fundamentals as to why is it happening, and trying to show me those examples when the optimizer chooses a spool operator versus when it doesn't. And yes, so what happens is when you don't really have that step by step learning, those fundamentals are not clear, then I use the term you have that broken knowledge. There are gaps in your understanding. And when you have gaps in your understanding, you really cannot do what you want to do. So the whole idea is becoming a better DBA, better developer, and if you're tuning queries, then of course this is super, super critical. Spool, as the word says, spooling means caching some data, caching some temporary data so that it can be reused again. And Optimizer deploys or uses this technique of spooling for the purpose of optimization, for the purpose of performance optimization. So the whole idea is that it is like many other techniques, it is one of the techniques to speed up query performance. When you have a query that you send to SQL Server, like if you see in this, it's a very simple query that we are sending to SQL Server. It is going to scan the source data. The source data is none other than these tables, like production.work order, and then it's joining another table, which is production.work order routing. When the optimizer is scanning this source data, if it's a very straightforward scanning, pretty much fine. But if it has to do some work and that computation takes time, and then there is an intermediate result set, then SQL Server may want to cache that data so that if there is a need to go back to that source data, do that all that complicated computations once again, then it might be CPU intensive, which in turn might be time consuming. So SQL Server would like to probably cache that temporary computed data so that it could just be reused again, saving time, thereby increasing query performance. So what I'm going to do is, let's remove this one. So if you look at this join operator here, there is a join condition, the equality operator, that those are your join keys. And then this join condition has another aspect to it. So it says production.work order join work order routing. My join keys are work order IDs, and work order ID is equal to something. So I'm just going to take this off, which means I'm just making this join very, very simple. Let's go and execute this query. When I execute this query, take the cursor over the execution plan, you will see that it's a very straightforward execution plan. If you worked with SQL Server, probably this does not require any explanation. You have the compute scalar, which is doing the singleton operation. We are scanning the source table, this is the outer table, the work order, and then you have the work order routing, which is the inner table. The data is being scanned from both these inputs, and then here is your merge join operator, which is doing the join. There are different types of join operators: merge join, nested loop, hash. I did a webinar last week, and there is a video in our YouTube channel also about that. You may want to have a look at that. Today's discussion is not about these join operators. So whether it is merge or nested or hash, doesn't matter. End of the day, it's joining two inputs. That's all we care about. Now, if you look at this execution plan, there's absolutely no spooling requirement here. There's no spooling operator. It's a very straightforward scan of the inputs, and the optimizer is joining the data using one of those three available join operators. All good. Now, I am going to add this condition, right? What is that condition? And work order ID is equal to 1235. So what we're trying to tell SQL Server here is that, okay, my join condition is this, fair enough. And then there is another aspect to it, which is work order ID should be 12345. For you and me, this might look like a very straightforward thing to do, but then this is extra work for the optimizer. This is what I call as correlated set of parameters. When SQL Server is joining two inputs, it takes one row from the outer table and is matching that with every row from the inner table. And matching that with every row from the inner table means, consider the joining keys here, which means work order ID of the outer table has to match with the work order ID from the inner table. And this condition also should be satisfied. This is extra work, and trying to do that for each input, for each row, might be time consuming. So, and we're using the keyword here as and operator, which means this condition should be true and also this condition should be true. why not the optimizer thinks, why not just why always go to that inner table and try to do match both these conditions again and again? Why not simply just get all the records that match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get it in a temporary work table, right? And reuse that instead of going back to the source table. Why not just cache that data in a work table? That is exactly what spooling is. It speeds up. It speeds up the optimizer's work. So it's going to create that cache in a work table, and that is going to be stored in TempDB. So and that's really totally up to the optimizer. You may have the spool operator, you may not have. There's no guarantee, because for the optimizer, it is cost based optimization. If it thinks that this is going to save some cost, it's going to do it. But if it thinks that no, it's not really going to save cost, then it might not do it. Let's go and execute this and check this for ourselves. Jump over to the execution plan, and then now you can see that yes, the optimizer does some kind of spooling here. It's playing around with this inner table, which is the source data. It's scanning this and creating a temporary cache in a work table, which is being stored in the tempdb. And then what exactly is happening here? This table spool operator, this spooling technique, I'll talk about table spool and lazy spool in a while, but this spooling activity is actually supporting the upstream of this nested loop, right? So the downstream is actually consuming this data, and table spool supports this upstream activity of the nested loop. Now you might be wondering, oh wow, merge join has now changed to nested loop and all of that stuff, and now you can see parallelism also in place. Ignore all of that stuff for the time being, because then we might go into a different direction altogether. So let's just focus on spooling. So one thing is clear, that, okay, now SQL Server is spooling because of this correlated set of parameters, because of this extra join condition out there. It's creating this temporary cache. What are these table spools and lazy spool? Well, the concept of spooling is very clear. Okay, so optimization technique, it creates this temporary cache. The idea is reusing the cache instead of going back to the source table. And then it typically happens when you have high density, which means low selectivity. Those are some of the criteria that the optimizer is considering before deciding to deploy a spooling tactic. So you have three types of physical operation in spooling. One is table spool, which is also called as performance spool, and is typically used to support this join operation, right? To speed up this query execution, to support this join operation. That is table spool, also called as performance spool. Index spool, very straightforward. Whenever SQL Server is finding, the lack of adequate indexes, and it thinks that it can create a non-clustered index on the fly, that is index spooling, and reuse that index. Then you have a row count spool. The whole idea is to count the number of rows in a source table, store it somewhere. Again, the idea is just for the optimizer, for the execution, to check the existence of rows, typically used by the exist operator or by the count clause. That is the row count. Otherwise, you have to go back and count all the rows and see if there is data or no data. I mean, those kind of things. So to speed up that, you have the row count spool. Now, these physical operations can be done in either two ways: eager spool or lazy spool. Eager spooling here means that I am going to go and fetch all the data at once, which kind of creates a blocking scenario, right? Which means whatever is required for this temporary cache, I'm just going to go and scan all at once. That is eager spooling. Lazy spooling means I'm going to scan the source data as and when required, right? Oh, so eager spooling is actually non-blocking. Lazy spool becomes blocking, because then you are going and scanning as and when required. Okay, so you have these physical operators and the logical operators. Now let's go and dive deeper into the spooling thing here. So friends, you, as a SQL Server professional, you would have come across content, blogs, videos, which would say that spooling is sometimes bad. You should get rid of spooling. Sometimes it could be a performance bottleneck. And then you try all sorts of different things to get rid of spooling. Spooling is generally not bad. If it was bad, it wouldn't have been there in the first place. It is a good performance optimization technique, and the optimizer decides to use it. And in most cases, it's right. But sometimes, yes, spooling does become a performance bottleneck, and you might be better off without the spool operator. That is where SQL Server gives you a query hint. If you want to watch the remainder part of the webinar and all the remaining demos, you can subscribe to the webinar on sqlmaestros.com and get lifetime access to the recorded webinar. All you have to do is just go to sqlmaestros.com, click on the recorded webinar section and get access to all the webinar recordings. There are many of them. Some of these webinars are free and some of them are very nominally priced. So the ones that you're interested in, you can subscribe to them and get lifetime access. Now, because there are so many webinars, subscribing to each webinar might be a bit cumbersome. So we have another option, which is SQL Maestros membership. So the first link on SQL Maestros says join. If you click on that, it will bring you to SQL Maestros membership. Things are very simple. There are two membership levels. The first level is free, where you get access to all the free webinars and all our tutorials and demos, more than 200, 300 demos and tutorials. All you have to do is just become a free member. You're paying nothing and you get access to all of them. So you don't have to go and subscribe to each webinar individually. Just become a free member and then explore the free video lobby. So if you go to the video lobby here, there is something called as free content where you get access to all of that. But then all of us are interested in advanced content, isn't it? And that is where premium membership comes into play. So the webinars that are paid, and there are many advanced tutorials and demos. If you want access to all of them, you can become a premium member and pay a nominal price, which is annual membership. Once you do that, you can explore the premium video lobby. If you go to the premium video lobby from here, or just go to the video lobby and click on premium content, you can see all the paid webinars and all the advanced tutorials and demos and get access to all of them with your annual membership. Anyway, choice is yours. There's a lot of content on sqlmaestros.com, and you can also explore the YouTube membership level as well. So you have free content on YouTube channel, and you can also join and become a member of SQL Maestros on YouTube, where you can pay a monthly fee, get access to all the paid webinars and advanced content. So in summary, you can go to sqlmaestros.com and become a member, or you can become a member on YouTube also. Becoming a member on sqlmaestros.com turns out to be a little cost effective with the annual membership in comparison to YouTube monthly membership. But anyway, choice is yours, whichever platform you wish to use. Happy SQL.